Welcome to the Fearless Happiness Podcast, where we showcase phenomenal individuals who have overcome serious traumas, life obstacles, and challenges to find their own path to fearless happiness. Listen as Max Njist invites guests from all around the world to share their experiences and spread strength, hope, and faith. This is the Fearless Happiness Podcast, and this is Max Njist.
All right, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this world. This is Max coming to you from the Fearless Happiness Podcast with another amazing and special guest, Serina. And I don't want to butcher your last name, but I'll have you do that. But anyway, what I like to do, Serina, is have you introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, what it is you do, and then you and I are going to rock and roll and have fun.
All right. Hey, guys. My name is Serina Justiniano. I am a business strategist, entrepreneur. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
All right. So, Serina, what I like to do is kind of go back, right? Because I've been interested in your story ever since we connected on TikTok and I read your bio and stuff, right? So let's go back and you go as deep as you want, though, right? Let's talk about those challenges and struggles that you went through that helped shape who you are today, right? Because we know as entrepreneurs, right, that life is not easy. And if you're not ready to fall on your face and get back up a few times and keep doing it again and again, you might as well get out of it, right? But you got quite an interesting story, so we're ready to hear it.
All right, guys. So my journey kind of starts back when I was super young. So I was 14 when I got my first job, and I worked in the healthcare system. I worked at a hospital, and I just loved the environment so much. I don't know what it is. I mean, I probably sound crazy because you were 14 and you went to a hospital and you loved it. Like, that's weird. But I figured out that what I loved was just like the cohesiveness of it, like just how everybody worked together. Like, it was hectic, but like it had a purpose. And like I really loved that. And at the time, like, I'll just touch on a little bit. Like, I definitely I'm a victim of childhood abuse. So like I was really just trying to get out of my home situation and just like trying to find my own people. Like, I just felt like I didn't fit at home. Like, I was so different. And I just was trying to find people that like got me. Like, I never wanted to change. I just wanted to like find people that understood it. And I don't know, when I was there, it was my grandpa. My grandpa went to the hospital and I was visiting him. And that was my first time, like, really, I feel like being in a hospital that I could like understand. And I loved it. I never wanted to leave. I knew he was going to be okay. So like I just liked how everybody worked. So from him being there, I connected with this physical therapist, and she like wrote me a letter so I could get out of high school like early so I could come and like work in the hospital. And I really wanted to like get a full-time job there and after high school. So I stuck with it. I ended up getting my job at 14 in the transportation department, and I loved every second of it. And I worked my way up. I mean, I worked in every department you could possibly imagine in that place. Okay. Like, I was there for 12 years, and it was like, it just built my foundation. Like, that place became all of me. And once I worked my way up to a spot where I was like, okay, I really can't go any farther. Like, I was going through school. It was a great job to go through school with. And so once I like graduated, I was ended up getting a job with a like multi-billion-dollar corporation. Okay. This is one of the largest medical device companies in the world. It was a really great opportunity. And so when I did that, I worked there my first year. I was running a team of 4. I was the leader of that account. And basically what I did was I was a biomedical engineer, and I made like robots, like the surgical robots in the ORs. So the surgeons would like page us or call us or FaceTime us or whatever if there was issues. And like I would have to like fix that while they were in surgery. So that was a big main portion of my job. It was also like installing new equipment and like creating the updates for them. And at the heart, I'm an engineer, I will say. Is definitely who I am. I love creating problem solving and everything. So I saw some system issues. I'm a business strategist first, like working through the healthcare system. I ended up in management. I've done a bunch of different things. So everything that I've done, it's always been like this proactive approach. Like it's always been this, hey, like I know that we're doing this, but let's not wait for it to fail. Like, or let's not wait for something to happen. Like I'm telling you, like, let's do this, let's do this. So I've always been that type of strategic person. And I brought that into every role that I had. So being the leader of a team and having a lot of freedom allowed me to kind of see things really clearly. And I came up with a solution for that company that I was working with that was pretty big. Um, and so I remember telling my now business partner, but before he was my coworker at the time, I told him I was like about the idea I had, and it was like a software system type of idea. And he literally, like, I remember it so clear as day. We were in a hospital waiting room, and he literally looked at me. He was, call our boss, like, call him right now. He was like, that is amazing. And like, it didn't take until somebody else saying it for me to be like, oh, I guess this is pretty good. Brought it to my boss, and he basically did the same thing. Like he was like, whoa, like this, you can actually do that? Like that's cool. And I was like, yeah, I've been, YouTubing it, and I've been figuring things and stuff out. And yeah, like this is what I got so far. He was like, that's crazy. That's amazing. Like he was so impressed. So I asked him, I was like, so what do you think I should do with this? Like, whatever. And he was like, listen, he was like, this is really big. He was like, I'm going to tell you exactly like what I think you should do here. And like, this is where we can go. He was like, you got to get me a working prototype, but I want to get you up to these executives. Like, I want you to be able to sell this. Like, this is huge. And I was like, all right. I was like, if you really think that you can help me do that, then yeah, absolutely. He was like, establish this on your own. He was like, it's got to be separate from what you do, at work. And I was like, all right, cool. No problem. And
Right.
so from there, I just, I took it to my coworker, and he was like, listen, dude, I believe in this. Like, let's do it. And then we've only known each other for less than a year. And he was like, I want to partner with you. Like, I believe in this too. So we partnered, we created an LLC and just like went rolling. I mean, I put everything I had into this software app. And so we made it pretty far, man. Like we pitched to my boss, and then it was pitching to my boss's boss, and then his boss, and above that. And so it was about all summer that we went through meetings and stuff like that while we were still building on the side, like really getting it to like the place that it needed to be. I'm not a software engineer by trade. My degree, I go all the way up to PhD, and I'm a biomedical engineer. So software and coding is new for me. I'm also dyslexic, so not easy, the coding stuff at all. So it was,
That's a big challenge in itself if you're coding and you're dyslexic, right?
oh, it's hard. Like it is crazy hard, but I was able to figure it out, and like it was great. We found resources to help us. Like I hired some coaches, and we got some training. It was amazing. Like it was a really good couple of months of just like being in the grind and building. And I also had to take care of my job as well, because he told me this had to be separate. So I was commuting an hour at the time to my job, and I was working my butt off. Like, I mean, crazy hours, like doing the two things at once. So we got all the way, like I said, pretty far up in the meetings with this thing to try to sell it. And so we had to get it validated, which was crazy. And they validated the business itself and our product at $40 million. So I was like, whoa, like this is gonna be big. Like this is gonna change my life. Okay, so I remember say it was in September because it's my wedding anniversary. So I was on a cruise, my first wedding anniversary. It's the first like I was crawling to that cruise. I was so tired, like I was working so hard, like this is it. So I'm on my cruise, and I'm like literally the first thing I do is throw my phone in the safe, because I'm like, I don't want any, I just want to unplug, like I just want to be away for a week. So my business partner and I, we had like an agreement. We were like, my husband got the social media, so that way, just in case something happened with like the sale or anything, that my partner had to get a hold of me, because as a CEO, like I have to make final decisions and things like that. So I was like, okay. He was like, I was like, just in case. So not thinking I was going to get anything from him, because he really wouldn't, I know he wouldn't bother me unless he had to. My husband gets a message from him, and basically he's like, I need to talk to Serina. So I knew something happened. Um, and so I was able to call him, and basically he told us that we were sued by our company. And I was like, what? I was so confused. because where we left things was pretty positive. I received an email, me and my business partner received an email from the senior director, which is somebody that in the position I was in, I should never know. Okay. Like this is a huge company. I should never know this man. But he emailed us and basically was like, I'm so grateful to have you a part of our team. Like you guys done such great work. I'm so excited to take this journey with you. But I mean, like literally praising us over and over again.
Right.
So we really thought we were there, man. Like we really thought. I was like, whoa. I remember like screenshotting, sending it to one of my best friends, being like, "We're gonna get this. We're gonna get the sale. We're gonna get this. Holy crap!" Like it was so big. Like I was so confident. Um, so when he told me that they basically served us, I was like, what? Like, what is happening? And I know they waited until I was on vacation because I'm definitely more of a shark in the fire. My business partner is very calm, and I knew that they were a little afraid of me, which is always a good thing, I think,
All right.
as a woman in the field. Like I'm really young. Like when I was going for this, I was 25. And I'm a woman and I'm 4'11" or 4'10 and I look very young. So people take advantage of that. So you have to be a little bit more sharper on the edges. And they were definitely knew that I would be very pissed off. And so
Right.
I knew they waited until I was on vacation for this to happen, which sucked because I was in the middle of the Caribbean. So I couldn't really do anything. But we made it through. We got back. I had a meeting. I set up a meeting with my lawyers right away, and basically my lawyers were like, they were blown away. We were blown away. I was, what is happening? Long story short, basically, once it got to the legal department in a company like this, most giant companies are not owned by the same person that founded them. Okay. So the founder of the company I worked for was a great guy. I believe that, but he's dead and his kids sold the company. So who's up at the top now? Some businessmen, some lawyers. They don't share the vision he shared, just want the money.
Right.
So once it got to corporate lawyers, because where we were at was them signing an NDA with us and us actually discussing payment, like what this is going to look like, how we're going to transfer this and blah, 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 because they were very interested.
Right.
Um, and so when the lawyers got a hold of this, what I found out after was basically they were like, you don't have to pay for this. They work for you. Like these little like punks, basically, they don't have anything. Like, heck no, they were like, this is great. Take it. Like that's basically what happened. These lawyers stepped in and were like, oh no, 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 no. You're not paying for this. Like
Right.
we can definitely weasel this out of them and no problem. So yes, we got the big scary lawyer emails. We got just like the internal compliance department on us. I also still worked for them. So this is not just like a side deal. This was my actual job, my engineering job. Um, and so when I got back from my cruise, found out everything, talked to the lawyers, and found out what they wanted, which was everything. And obviously I wasn't going to give it up. I had to still work for them. So it was pretty uncomfortable situation. I was also hurt. So I found out during that whole time that I was building and everything that was happening, I was having a lot of hip pain. And honestly, I was just ignoring it. And
Right.
so I kept working. And by the time I got to my cruise right before, I was using a cane to walk. And everyone was like, girl, you need to go figure this out type of thing. But I just had so much going on. And I was like, I will, I promise. So once they sued me and I kind of like had to still work for them, I just went out on disability because I was like, I'm not gonna put my heart and energy into this. And or I really was very hurt. So I found out afterwards that I was actually gonna need 6 hip surgeries on both sides.
Man.
I was walking around on 2 broken hips, didn't know. So yeah, it was a lot. I was definitely in more pain than I was leading on, and honestly, more pain than I was trying to believe, I think.
Right.
So yeah, I had 2 broken hips. And so now I had to have major surgery, and I was still facing this lawsuit. And now I'm on disability, and it was just a lot. So basically after that, after I went on disability, it was about a month of back and forth between the organs and everything, and they didn't give us anything. So we tried, I mean, everything to work with them. I was like, listen, I will give this to you if you want to play these games, because I knew, and the lawyers knew, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. They're going to get whatever they want out of you because they're just going to bury you in legal fees.
Right. Exactly. And that's the problem with working with big corporations, right? Like in
That's
any day and age,
There
right?
wasn't a right and wrong to them. They
Right.
didn't care. It was just money. They were
Yeah.
like, we have the money to bury them.
Right.
So do it. I mean,
Well,
more.
and they probably expected you to fold, like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna fight, right? Because see, and this is why I love that you came on here, right? To show, right? Everybody, if you see Serina, like she still looks like she's in her early 20s. She's very young, but you can see it in her eyes. She's got some fire going on, right? Like,
All of it. And I think they saw it too. Because
right,
I remember going through the executive meetings, and I remember this one guy who was supposed to be terrifying. He really wasn't, but he was supposed to be. This is what I was prepped for. There, and he said to me during the meeting, he was like, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna tear this apart, but like, let's see where we get to at the end. Like basically he was prepared to be right. And so I answered every question. There was not a single thing this man could throw at me that I couldn't answer. And he literally goes, I can't believe you ain't like he was like shocked. He was like, I have nothing negative really to give at you. He was like, as long as this all looked is accurate, like he was like, wow. So I think after that they kind of knew like you're not dealing with like some nobody. Um if I put my when I put my heart and soul into something, I put my heart and soul into it. I was not going into those meetings unprepared. Uh,
right. Well, yeah, right.
and
And
they knew.
you did your homework, and that was your baby, though. Like, so how
Oh,
how are you not going to answer their questions? Because like this is my baby, and you're going to
oh
try
yeah,
to tell me I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's go.
exactly. So basically, at the end of the day, what they decided and what they said was that what we created was too close to the role that we had, therefore they own this, which not true. We didn't sign anything that equaled they own this because I'm not shy to that. The first thing I did when even my boss was like, I want you to take this up, like this has to be separate. The first thing I did was contact a lawyer. Like first thing we did was talk
All
to
right.
a lawyer. And they were like, send us all of your employment information and we'll go from there. And that's exactly what we did. And the only thing that it was in their contract is that you need permission to do this for the position I held. And through every meeting, I made sure of that. I mean, on every PowerPoint, I had like that this was like not commercial use, like this was strictly PowerPoint, like we weren't using any information outside of this company. Anything we asked on every slide at the end of every presentation, do we have your permission to continue working on this through our own LLC? Like I wrote it there just to cover my butt. And
Right.
like at the end of the day, in court, that would have stand, but we wouldn't get to court. That's the issue, is that they would have prolonged this years, burying me in legal fees, which I just didn't have the capital for, and
Right.
especially going up against them. So at the end of the day, I was like, we had a
That's a possibility, real quick, that we might not even be having this conversation because you would be buried in legal
oh,
stuff.
absolutely, absolutely.
You'd be like, sorry, Max, I'd love to come on and talk about this, but I can't right now because I'm
Yeah,
still going through stuff.
exactly. And it was so hard at the time because I was like just trying to get them to have some sense of heart. Like this was my first experience like dealing with people that literally felt like they had like no emotions. Like I was like, I'm a person that's
Right.
now going through surgeries and like everything, and you're trying to take everything from me. But alone, like every ounce of savings that I had went into this because we put our own capital into it. It
Right.
wasn't like the company was funding it. I was funding it. And
Right.
on top of the lawyers and everything else. So we spent like both my business partner and myself, we both spent everything we had. We gave everything into this because we were steered in a direction that this was a positive investment. And
Right.
so we wanted them to make right on that. I mean, you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. This is $30 to you. This is my life, though. So we
Right.
wanted them to make right on that. And they definitely would not. They literally stood their ground on everything that we had. They would not even, we even decided to like not go for direct money, but even a position. Like I was like, at this point, like I hate these people, but I also have to live. So
Right.
I was like,
I got bills to pay and surgeries to pay for.
exactly. I'm like, if this is actually going to help as many people as I think it's going to help, I was like, let's at least let me run this in your department. No, nothing. They wouldn't give me anything. So I didn't give them anything. They wanted me to sign it over. I signed it over, but I destroyed it before I signed it over. I destroyed the entire company.
Right. I love
And then
it.
they fired me, which I think they were going to do anyway. Like they were just waiting it out. I had no intent of staying either. I just genuinely knew that I just had a feeling that through they were just waiting for the lawyer stuff and like to be concluded.
Right.
And I know they wanted their signed contract that we weren't going to take this anywhere else because I think that's what they were scared of is that we could have. This could have gone to multiple different companies and it would have
Right.
competed against them.
Right.
I had no intent of doing that. Like I was fully prepared to sign a contract and basically say like I will not take this to market in any
Right.
way. Like I'm here with you. Like we made it very like we want to work together. We want to work together. And like, because normally when you have an idea like this, the hardest part is getting in the door, is getting the, fancy person to listen to you. And I felt like because of this, like we had that opportunity, like I worked for the company. They liked me. I was at the bottom. I mean, I was at the very freaking bottom all the way in Buffalo, like running a 3-man account. Like it wasn't anything crazy. So that's
Right.
why it was really crappy how they decided to handle everything, but definitely a learning experience. And now to see where I ended up, I kind of understand why everything needed to happen the way that it did.
I was just going to say, because going through that, as tough as it was, right? Because not only are you going through physical problems, right? Because you're walking around with broken hips.
Mhm.
How did you find out? How did you break them? Did you ever find out, or it was just
Yeah, so luckily this is why I always think that things like end up for a reason. So my husband is a physical therapist, and throughout my entire life, I've always had accidents or like weird things where it's like I don't even know what I did, but I broke something. And it's always been me. Everybody's always like, "Oh my God, you're such a danger prone Daphne. Like you always are breaking things." And I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing." They're like, "What did you do?" And I was like, I don't know. So my husband always thought that that was very odd. And I've always had a lot of other medical issues growing up. Like when I was young and in high school, like I had a bunch of stuff. Like I was in the hospital for months and like they could never connect the dots until insert my husband becoming a physical therapist and like kind of being like, this is weird. So I was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is basically a connective tissue disorder, and it makes your joints very laxed. Everything is just very easy to dislocate, very easy to break. So what happened with my hips was that I was walking on them a lot, and like the way that I was commuting to work, so I was driving and everything, and I run and I play tennis. So I think they really think it was the tennis that did it. It caused like a bursitis, and then that broke it down, and like just the constant walking and ignoring the pain, like it just made it weak, really weak, to the point where I had like two dislocations, and I knew that, and like they popped, we went to the emergency, we popped it back in, it was all that, and like you just kind of like hope it's done. Like when you're young, you're just like, all right, it happens type of thing. And then you keep walking on the day to day and you're, what's up? So basically, they found out that I have hip dysplasia, which is a birth defect, and that like is a shallow hip socket. So it's crazy. Like if this is your ball, like I don't have anything covering it. So when I was doing all those things like tennis and being active and working in the hospital, which was not light work, like I was like crawling under tables and in the weirdest positions, and it was
right?
not good. It was not good on my body. I mean, I was small, so they always made me crawl under the tables. Like all the bigger guys that I was working with, they were like, I can't fit. It's gonna have to be you. So I'm like crawling behind cabinets and wire and like terrible positions. Yes. And so it was because of that that really put a lot of strain on them. So once I started feeling the pain, it was a good 6 months. And also a reason why I didn't stop was because my business partner was in an accident. And so he ruptured his Achilles tendon. So he was hurt. He had major, like he just had a surgery. So like his was pretty clean. He was playing basketball and whatever. So I was like doing double duty. Like there was nowhere in my head where I could be like, yeah, let me go to the doctor and figure this out right now. Like there was just so much going on. But that's what I've learned from now. So I remember genuinely when we got sued and I got back from my cruise and I was talking to my business partner, which I always give him so much credit because I'm definitely the Spitfire. He is calm and I needed that calm. Like we balance each other very well. So he was the one just like kind of like grounding me through all that. But I remember saying to him, and I've talked about this before on podcasts, but I like these people don't know what they're taking from me. Like it's not about the money, it's not about being rich. Like I've been working since I was 14. And I said like I was a childhood abuse victim. Like I have a lot. And it like my life on the surface was going very well, but I knew that I was really tired. And I knew that it was coming out in other ways, equaling at home in my relationships. Like I wasn't answering anybody. Like my husband's always like, why are you so miserable? Like it was coming out in other ways.
Right.
So I knew I was like, because in my head, I was like, this is the lump sum that's gonna like retire me. Like I'm gonna change my life. Like I'm gonna be able to do something with this, whatever I want. And so I remember being like, yo, these people really took some serious things from me because I envisioned the next year of my life taking a year off, hiring some lifestyle coaches, some really good therapy, and like maybe a retreat, like something for me to take a mental break and really start to like authentically figure out what I wanted because I've always been in survival mode, figure out what's next, like make the
Right.
money you need. It was always either the schooling or the job or the relationship or like whatever. Like there was always these goals that I had to set. And even when they were set, like it was just so much. So I remember saying, like, these people don't get what they're taking from me. And just like wishing and wanting that time to heal. And so what I realize now after the entire thing is that I got my wish, just not in the way that I thought. Like, like they didn't give me the money, but I got fired and I lost my job and I was sick. And it was everything that forced me to stop.
Right.
Because if I got the money, if everything worked out, do I think I would have actually gotten the help? No.
No, you
I
would
did
have
not.
you would have went to the next idea and
Exactly.
put yourself.
Exactly. I would have been like, oh, later, later, later. And the
Right.
universe was like, hey, no, like you're right. Like you need to stop. Like you need to heal. You need to slow down. And so my hips forced that. Like I couldn't do anything. It was crazy. 12 weeks for my first surgery, it was 12 weeks that I couldn't walk. So I was using like a Rolade walker that like I couldn't put weight on my leg and a wheelchair. So it was 12 weeks of that, which in the grand scheme, I was like, oh, 12 weeks is not too bad. But when I was in that in Western New York, when it's grayer than gray and colder than cold,
Right.
yeah, it's
Feel like
rough.
for like 12 years, more like 12 weeks,
Literally,
right?
it's rough. Where I'm looking at both of my dogs and they're like, why aren't we going for walks? Why aren't you playing with me? And I'm like, I'm broken. Like it's one of those things where
Right.
you're just like, it's a lot. But every day I really like focused on journaling and like trying to figure out like what was going because there's nothing left. There's nothing left. I was just, I'm like, this is it. This is what happened. And we have to figure this out. My business partner and I, right after, we always knew, like after everything ended and we got fired, we knew that what we had was huge. And we were gonna take it no matter what this company was going to do with it or not. I destroyed it. They don't have it, anything. Even if they did, I don't care. I shifted it and basically tried to create this for what I knew, which was my 12 years of healthcare and clinical experience.
Right.
So I took the same idea, adjusted the hell out of it, made it broad and different. And that's what I'm doing now. I mean, I spent my winter building a device in my garage that's now being mass produced. Like it's pretty cool. So
Well, see that, that reminds me of, right, is like the Xerox companies. all those were who started in their garages or their barns. Hewlett Packard started in their barn.
I know, and I love it. And that's the thing, like I embrace it. Every time I was working on it, I was like, this is cool. I am building this in my garage. I'm like the rest. Like this is awesome. Like, I mean, and it was. I mean, that's how you kind of have to start when you don't have the capital to do anything. Like, I'm an engineer. I was like, I can figure this out. And so my business partner and I partnered with an actual software engineer. So I was like, cool, because I can't YouTube this coding stuff anymore. And we can do something with this. And it was just, it took a lot for me to like really like put it all together. I was like my 12 years in this company of working at this hospital in the same system in the same building, knowing so many people. I mean, these people have watched me grow up. Genuinely.
Right.
I was there 12 years. I started when I was 14. They watched me get married. A bunch of them were there. So that's why it's like, it's cool. Like I grew up there and I put in the work and I really did that. And that was my networking a ton. And like, even working for the medical device company I did, I mean, the executives suck and the higher on the ground was fantastic and they had my back and was great. It's just, now I really see that that's what was building for this, like I have all of the tools that I need to do this because I worked on the ground with them. I get it. And that's like kind of my motivation to. Are you back? Sorry, I saw the Wi-Fi for a second, but you didn't cut out.
Yeah, you froze on me for a second. I could still hear you talking. You're back now, though. What I want to ask you, though, Serina, right?
Okay, good. Sorry.
Is right, like all that pain in the ass shit you went through, let's just say, right, was actually a lesson if you think about it, right? Because it's good to have a good work ethic, to work hard, right? But it sounds like the universe, or like my belief, God was trying to tell you, slow down, take care of yourself, or this is all going to be for nothing because you won't be around to take care of it and to provide for your family, your husband, whatever, right? If you don't slow down, right? So there's something to self-care, even as an entrepreneur, right? Because we already know it.
Especially as an entrepreneur, now I realize.
Right. But at the same time, I always think, right, she had to go through that because that's the only way she was going to learn the lesson. Like any of us, right? That
exactly.
We go through, like in my addiction, right? My going through all that, right? I wouldn't be the man I am today if I didn't go through my addiction. If you know what I mean? I wouldn't be the father I am, the husband I am, the grandfather I am, right? If, right, I didn't make a decision, get sober, and then learn. Because even in my early recovery, we sound a lot alike because I was just go, right? And I gotta make up for all this lost time, right? And then there was, at year 5, I went through this severe depression. And it was like somebody was telling me, slow down, because you're going, right? You're going at lightning speed. That's cool. But if you don't take care of yourself, it's going to catch up to you.
I think what I realized is that I didn't need to. Like, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, like you feel all this pressure, but the pressure's from yourself.
Right.
You know? Like they weren't XYZ. Like I knew I needed to get this stuff done, but like you could do it. I don't know. I think throughout now, like having the time to heal, what I learned was like, it's your birthright to rest. You don't need to like earn that, it's your birthright to eat. Like,
Right.
Like this is like, these are functions that we need. And I think for a while I was functioning in the sense of like, it as a reward, like food as a reward or sleep as a reward. And it's like, no, negative. So that's why I really shelter what I do now, which as a business strategist, it's really fun. Like I love being an independent consultant because I get to work for different companies and they come to me and they want my opinion and want my strategies. And I'm like, cool, that's great. But the work that genuinely brings me passion is working with startups, like startup entrepreneurs, like people with the idea, but like haven't really taken it too far yet. Because I remember being at the beginning. It was terrifying. It's terrifying. I remember spending weeks researching how to, do an LLC, what it even was, and like things like that. And it's scary to be like, am I doing this right? Like this is legal. Like what is this? So like to have somebody to actually walk you through those things, that's not a lawyer that's setting it up for you that you're paying for, like it's different, So I love the work that I do now. and or the fact that because of everything I went through, I'm able to bring the mindful approach, because like my whole, like I created a business course, and the whole course is a fundamental business, but it's also how to be mindful with it, how to not do what I did and like take the pressure and make you feel like you shouldn't be eating, because you're like, oh, if I'm not eating, I'm not working. If I'm eating, I'm working. Oh my God, I'm resting. Like rest is, like I said, not earned. It's your birthright. You get that, just by being born. And that took a long time for me to understand, because my worth lied in my productivity.
Right. And I'm sure your husband at the time was like, honey, you got to rest. I don't even get to, like my wife, sometimes when I go, she goes, all I see is the back of you, right? Like you need to slow down, come in here, sit with me,
Yeah.
relax, right? We are married. Remember, hello, I'm your wife. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much me. I mean, he's crazy too and works all these hours. Well, normally like he's just out of the house for a while. And so I take advantage of that sometimes, because if he had later shifts, he always goes to the gym like super early. So he's always out of the house early, no matter what. Or like he would take a jujitsu class. So it like balanced out work for him when he was gone. So if he was gone for that time, I was just straight grinding. And sometimes he would come home and be like, did you change? And I'm like, no, should I have? Yeah. Like, it's just like you forget to like even move sometimes. And so I
Right.
really try to create a routine for myself where no matter what type of stress that I'm going through, and I'm not sitting here saying it's easy, because it's not, I try to really stay grounded in faith and stay grounded in the fact that it's going to be okay, and that the only person creating pressure is me, because nobody cares. Genuinely, nobody cares. If I deleted all of my social media, I would have like 10 people at max be like, hey, what's up? And I would just be like, I'm good. And like, those are the people I have their phone numbers and I talk to every day. Like, nobody
Right.
cares. Okay. Nobody
Right.
cares how many times you stop and you start. And when you pretend that people care, it's you caring. Like, that's the thing. I say this with my independent contractor stuff too, because there's so many times where I see like a nice little business consultant position come up, and I'm like, ooh, I would be really great for that. And then my head goes, no, you're a business owner. You can't do that. And then my other self goes, you can do whatever you want. You
Right.
can do whatever you want. Actually,
That's when you're probably going, I can do that too. What are you talking about? I can do this and do
yeah. It's just, there's so much pros and cons with entrepreneurship in the beginning. I think it pans out when you stick with it for sure. And you have that like solid things. And it scares me sometimes, because
that.
I
Oh
have
yeah.
like 12 ideas. Like right now, like I'm like, wow, I should start this. I should do this. Like sometimes I'm like, wow, girl, you have too many ideas. Like take it down a notch. So it's just figuring out the ones that actually matter, actually mean something. They have to stick with your values.
Absolutely. Right. Anything that follows your core values, then I believe go after it. Right. Because that's who
Yeah.
you are and that's what you align with. But I love it. I love your energy. You know what I mean? Like you're the energizer bunny, as they say. If everybody, she got a big smile the whole time too. She's describing all this stuff, and you'll see it on the YouTube channel. But this has been an awesome time, Serena's. Like I've learned a lot. Like I'm like, whew, imagine if I did that, right? Like I'd be in big trouble because I like,
I mean, hey Max, don't count yourself short. Your story's pretty great yourself. I
you know,
love I love stories.
learn like you to slow down and enjoy the process, right? Instead of always just going go 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 because I got to get something done, right? What I tell myself, and I'm sure you've learned in that process you went through, is like, okay, let's slow down. Let's see what's going on. Like, let me take a good look, and then I can keep going, right? Like, right? Because sometimes you need to pivot and go. If you're not paying attention, right, we could put ourselves in another situation where we're telling ourselves like, I'll rest when I die. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll go to
absolutely.
right. And I
You should
know
be pivoting.
right? Exactly. And I heard you say stay grounded in faith and stuff like that. And I know for me, God is like, I didn't bring you this far to one, drop you on your butt, but two, I want you to enjoy this life that I'm giving you because I've given you so many wonderful things to be grateful for, right? Like this being here with you, right? So
Yeah, I mean, everything that happened to me kind of brought me back into my faith, I'll say. I grew up Catholic, so I had some trauma with it just because of just so much of just shame around it. And like, I just didn't agree with the core beliefs. And like, I just didn't feel like it matched. And then once I kind of let it all go, like I said, let the busyness go, let everything go, just let myself be. Um, it all like came back in like this big way of why we need to stay grounded. I call it the universe, I call it Holy Spirit, I call it God, I call it everything because I'm very open and I'm very free. So I like to just, if I give myself that direction, it makes me feel good. But I really love the fact that this experience brought me back to faith, like, and my husband too, because we both, again, very big grinders, and, grew up the same way. We grew up Catholic, never really connecting, never really feeling, never really getting it. Um, and now to be able to watch sermons every Sunday and like do these like series on marriage and hope and love and like hearing it from people my age and just like translated in a different way, and now not being this little kid sitting in a hard pew not understanding a word that was going on. Now I look at this stuff and I can connect it, and you're like, oh, that's the symbolic meaning behind it. Oh, that's this. And like, it really does change you. And I think that's all a part about growing up a lot.
Right.
Like I'm in my mid 20s now, pushing the late. And I very much am appreciative of the struggles that I've gone through, because I think once you understand, you know, when you ask God for something, he's gonna bring it to you just a little different. And have you ever heard this Akon song, like, God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. Like
Yeah.
I say that to myself all the time because it's so true. Like, thank you for pain. Like, thank you for the crap I've gone through, because that's what brought me here. I could have stayed with that company. I could have stayed there for the rest of my career. I could have grown within them, but they didn't clearly match my values. They had no problem taking my livelihood, and I would never want to do that to anybody else. So like, why would I work for somebody like that?
Absolutely. And I love it. You know what I mean? Like you're you're a great example of going through tough times, learning from it, and then turning it around and helping other people and yourself become a better person because of it. Right. Like,
That's
thank
the way
God
to put it.
when I got sober, going through I still, 12 steps are my foundation. Right. But it brought me
Yeah.
to God too. Right. And I don't have that Catholic experience like a lot of my friends did when they were little. Right. Like getting smacked with the ruler by the sister or the
I went to Catholic school. I know it all.
right. And because I got baptized as an adult when I got married. So I went through the adult RCIA. So I have a different experience, but I've never, like, I hear some of the things and I go, but anyway, this is not about religion, everybody, right? It's just, it's good to have like a foundation of faith, whatever that looks like for you. And I'm not pushing anything, but
It's a grounding point.
it's a grounding point. Exactly. Right. It keeps us, like I like to say, it's what keeps my feet on the ground so I could continue to be like and work to be 1% better than I was yesterday. Right. As long as
And I knew I was gonna like you. Like the 12 steps. I just see, like, just briefly, I know we gotta wrap up. I've done a lot of work with an AA and NA. I've dealt with a lot of health stuff, and I will never place myself in the same category as people that I have witnessed. But like, that was an experience for me that I was like, listen, like, actually get to listen to people and grow. But I just love the teaching of it, in the sense of like, all right, you're here, own your shit, do this. And then you're always trying to go help somebody else. Like, that's
right.
the key. It's like, always go help somebody else. Like, the next, like, that's what you should be doing. It's like, okay, you get sober, and then, all right, now how can you help somebody else? Like, that's always what the focus is. So if we translate that whole practice to just everyday life, it's so powering. And that's just kind of how I try to look at it too. Like, even the businesses that I do start and try to serve, it's like, yes, like, there's a capital for me and there's things that are worth my time, absolutely. But like, I get to like do something cool and like give back and help other people. Like, that's amazing. And like, that's always the work I want to do.
I love it. I love it. Well, I want to get to the questions that I love asking, right? And I've already asked you
Okay.
in the link that I sent you, but I'm going to ask you, starting with fearless, right? Same as the podcast and the book that I wrote. What does
Mhm.
fearless mean to you, Serina, and how does that show up in your life today?
Oh, Fear and me have played, we've been best friends. What are you talking about? Me and Fear have been BFFs. But my number one motto, I say it all the time. If you follow me on social media, I do say it all the time. And I think I've said it in every podcast. Be scared and do it anyways.
Yes.
Like that is my favorite. I have that on my wall. It's something that really stuck with me because I used to react to fear like heavily. I almost didn't take my corporate job that I got fired from, but hey, I wouldn't have had any of the experiences that brought me here. I almost didn't take that job because I was so scared. I genuinely convinced myself that it wasn't right because when I told myself, all right, I just won't take it, like I had this like brief moment of like relief. And I was
Right.
like, okay, maybe that means it wasn't right. And it was like, no, you're just scared. And
Right.
like my head kept talking, and my head was like, okay, if you don't take this, what's the next opportunity you're going to take? Because you can't stay here. You cannot stay here. Like you've already decided there's nowhere upper for you to go. And like, you know that you want more. So like, go get it. Go get more. So be scared because that's not going to go away. I realize that the scared isn't going to go away, but just do it anyway.
I love it. I love it. All the great ones say that come on my podcast. I love it.
Really?
Oh yeah, you're gonna. Are we ever gonna be fearless? No, right? But we can learn to fear less by doing just what you said, being scared and doing it anyway, right? Because what does that create? Courage, right? And you are a very courageous young lady. So, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You've stood with giants and said, "Come on, I'll kick your ass anyway." You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I'll
But
still do that. Let's go. My 410, but let's go.
there you go. I love it. And happiness is my next question. Knowing I put a Y in it, right?
Okay.
Does happiness mean to you today? And how does that show up in your life on a daily basis?
Happiness. Wow. I love it. When I stopped looking at happiness as a destination, my life changed. It's an emotion, folks.
Right.
It's an up and down roller coaster. At the end of your life, you want to look at it as a whole, but I experience happiness every day. I experience sadness every day. Like it's just a part of it, it's a part of what we go through on our day to days. And like for happiness, for me, it's about peace and freedom. It's about the ability to not be attached to myself and my own pressures and the pressures of everybody else, but to be grounded in my faith and do the things that I do for kindness. I love exploring other cultures because I want to like embrace them. Like I love traveling and I love talking to people because I love people. Like
Right.
I love learning from people and experiences and I have that inside of me. I have that humility inside of me. So I think that happiness for me is just all about the flexibility and the freedom to do what you authentically love, not what you're pressured to do.
Right. I love it. Can't say it any better, right? Well, Serena, like I said, this has been an awesome time, but I have to ask you if my audience wants to get a hold of you, right? If there's some budding entrepreneurs that really need some direction and need your
Ooh, I
guidance,
hope you get a hold of me.
how do they get a hold of you?
So I am on Instagram, TikTok under the Aligned Founder. Also, you can search that on for my beacon. My links are in all of my social media bios, but that is how you would book with me. But where you can reach out on TikTok, Instagram, and then I'm also Serina Justiniano on LinkedIn. I function a lot on LinkedIn as well, so look me up. I'm around, and yeah, message me, please.
All right. I love it. You heard that, everybody. She's easy to get a hold of. You just got to go find her. Well, you're not quite off the hook just yet, Serina. I get to ask you my favorite question, and it goes like this. What is the one piece of advice you could give my audience that will help them grow as human beings and become better people?
Oh, that is a good question. I love it. All right. What I think it means to genuinely grow, accountability and giving yourself grace while you do it, because accountability doesn't equal shame. It just equals accountability and knowing that we all make mistakes. When I grow genuinely, it's all about being authentic. It's the greatest gift that we all have is to just be truly us. I've been around so many people that aren't genuine, and it shows.
Right.
It does. It really does, in the sense of you're scared, or you can just tell, like, I really can. And when I'm authentic, like, that's where I feel the most at peace. It doesn't matter if I'm in a great point or I'm in a rough point. Like, whatever I'm feeling that day is kind of how I'm always going to answer somebody's questions. I was just at a wedding and someone was asking me this, and I'm like, normally I would kind of go into this big showy detail of like, oh, I'm great, I'm this, I'm that. But you know what? I'm going to be real today. I'm average, doing okay. I'm an entrepreneur and it's hard on days, but I'm blessed to be here. Instead of being this big showy person, just be authentically you. If you're not having the best day, like if I wasn't having an amazing day, I may have rescheduled this, or because I want to show up my best self, but I don't ever want to be fake. Like I don't ever want to have to force myself to be something I'm not. So it's okay. If you're not 100%, just own it.
I love it. You heard that, everybody. Like I said, Serina, this has been an amazing time, and thank you for gracing me with your presence and being here, and the audience. Thank you for bringing your authentic self. We had a great time. So you heard her, everybody. If Serina made you think, if Serina taught you something, if Serina made you smile, and my favorite, if Serina made you go, I like that, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star review so more people could find the podcast. And again, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this world. This is Max from the Fearless Happiness Podcast. Until next time.
Are you tired of being weighed down by life's traumas and struggles? Join the Fearless Happiness lifestyle and let us guide you toward a brighter future. Explore our past podcast episodes and get a copy of the Fearless Happiness book to ignite your inner strength. If you or someone you love is battling addiction or facing challenges related to unresolved trauma, know that we are here for you. Visit maxnijst.org, maxnijst.org, and take the first steps toward finding your fearless happiness. Thank you for listening. This has been a production of Fearless Happiness.